One of the most positive things in my classroom has been using group roles, which we did some training with Edison, and we've made badges with the same group roles which we were taught when we had a meeting, and they've made a very big difference because the children know if they're given a role, what it means, what they need to do, and the lessons. You have group work and you stand and you're watching group work working and thinking, my gosh, my children are actually working by themselves in groups, and I'm not having to tell them to quieten down, to you've only got this much time, because those roles are taken on by the children, and it works fantastically.
Like, just for instance, one of the roles is you give one child in the group the role of messenger, and before we did this as class, I would have maybe 7 or 8 children tapping on my legs. Can you help us? Can you help us? Can you get me this? Can you do this? Now, so if I've got 5 groups, there's only 5 children in a lesson allowed out of their seats to get help or to get resources. So in terms of classroom management, that's really helped the lesson run smoothly, and they know someone in their group's got a problem, they come and tell me that problem, and then I can deal with it. And so it's a lot easier in that respect.
Yeah, I also think it's really good for the child who dominates a group, because I often give them the role which they're not allowed to dominate the group, and it's making them learn about listening to others and not just having their opinion given across all the time, and it's worked fantastically like that, because before they would just tell them exactly what to do all the time, and you'd have children sitting back, whereas the children are sitting back, I'm giving the roles which actually needs them to talk more or to lead the group, and they're starting to bloom in front of us, so it's been very positive.
Definitely. You can tell as well, teaching Edison the first time around in year 6, where the skills were completely new, and now switching year groups and teaching a year group which has obviously had the Edison grounding. You can say to them, today we're doing group work, and they automatically can go into roles, or they know how to behave. It's a huge impact.
Becoming easier as you go through the...
After what would be a term's worth of work, it's had a massive effect on how they act.
More children get a say in the class now, because before it'd be a few people having a say, where they all get a say now, which is more positive for all children.
Yeah, and I think also it's had a huge impact in the children feeling like they have a purpose to do something, or they know the reason why they're doing it. They're not doing work for the sake of doing work. They're doing something because they need to learn something and because they want to find out.
Yeah, that's the positive thing about the learning units as well, because they have a purpose to get to the end. Like, we're doing things about electricity at the moment, and they're electricians, and they have to pass certain tasks to be able to become the electricians at the end and to go out of the academy. And so for them to be able to do it, they know they have to learn about switches, and if they know about switches, then they know that part of their job, and then they go on to something else. They need to know about conductors, and that's been quite good, because they actually know to be able to become an electrician, they actually have to know these skills, so they can see why they're doing it. It's not just another science lesson.
I think it refocuses more onto using Walt, Wilf and Tib, and particularly for children higher up the school, having the Tib and, you know, what's the point of doing this was really vital for them. As soon as they can see the reason, they're quite keen to actually do the activity.
The learning units, I've been helped develop them, which we're looking at the national curriculum, and then looking at what that children need to know, and to be able to get the most out of their learning and try to make it cross-curricular as possible. So we might be doing a science unit, but if we're doing electricity in science, but we've made 3 Little Pigs houses in DT after learning the 3 Little Pigs stories in literacy, and our 3 Little Pigs house has a light which turns on. So we've tried to look at all the different national curriculum areas and make it as cross-curricular as possible without just putting something in for something's sake. It's made learning a bit more meaningful for the children, which has worked very well for them. And they want to make their houses, and they want to know how to make a switch so that the lights will turn on in the house.
Yeah, it was good for us to say in our science lesson, today we're going to make a circuit and we're going to learn how to make a light bulb light up. And you need to do this because your houses that you're making in DT, you're going to need to put that in there. So they were instantly, because they're so enthusiastic about modelling their houses, they were instantly, oh yeah, we've got to know how to do this so we can put this in our DT house. So there was more enthusiasm than perhaps if we just said, right, we're learning how to build a circuit today.